Hey, what's up, everybody? We are on page 244 in the binder this time. So for our 7.3 video, this one's very similar to 7.2. We're still multiplying, we're going to be distributing, but we have a couple special types of these problems where we're going to look for some patterns and see if we can find some shortcuts. Okay, so on page 244 at the top here, it says square of a binomial. So find each product and put your solutions in standard form. So when I look at number 1, it says x plus 4 quantity squared. Right, what we have to remember is that that represents x plus 4 times itself. Okay, so you have to notice that the plus sign that's there. And this is the exact reason why I said why I wouldn't use the word distribute when back in the exponents chapter, because I don't want you to distribute the exponent here. Whenever there's a plus sign, we don't get to hand out the exponent. We have to multiply by itself. All right. So what we end up with is x times x is x squared. X times 4 is plus 4x. 4 times x is plus 4x. And 4 times 4 is plus 16. So we get x squared plus 8x plus 16. All right, let's do another one. Number 2. 3a plus 1 squared, I have to write it out as 3a plus 1 times itself. And then when I distribute, I get 3a times 3a, which is 9a squared. 3a times 1 is plus 3a. And then 1 times 3a is plus 3a again. And plus 1 at the end. So we get a final answer of 9a squared plus 6a plus 1. Let's do, I'm going to skip around a little bit. Let's do number 4 and 5. So number 4, x minus 8 squared is x minus 8 times x minus 8. You write it twice. And then let's distribute x squared minus 8x, there's the bell, minus 8x, and plus 64. And so what do I get? X squared minus 16x plus 64. One more. 2t squared, or 2t minus 3 squared. So I write it twice. 2t minus 3, 2t minus 3, and we distribute 4t squared minus 6t minus 6t plus 9 equals 4t squared minus 12t plus 9. All right, so we went through those quickly. Pause it if you need to catch up. What I want to look at, or what I want to notice, is each time when we distributed, we got 4x and 4x, 3a and 3a, negative 8x, negative 8x, negative 6t, negative 6t. Those, I'll call them the middle two terms, were always the same as each other. Okay. The other thing to notice is that I get x squared and 16. That's x squared, and 4 squared is 16. And number 2, I do get 9a squared. That's 3a squared would be 9a squared. And then 1 squared is just 1. In number 4, I got x squared to start, and then a negative 8 squared would be plus 64. 2t squared would be 4t squared. And then negative 3 squared is positive 9. So there's a little pattern here. The same thing's kind of happening every time. We're getting the first thing squared, 2 of the middle things multiplied together, and then the second thing squared. So we actually get a little pattern here, and we're going to fill this in into the box. Square of a binomial. So if I have a plus b squared, the result is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay. We could also do the same with minus. A minus b quantity squared would equal a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. What it's saying is you do the first thing squared, then you take twice a and b multiplied together. So I multiply the a and the b and then I double it for the middle, and then I take the third thing squared. So let's just try this, trying to use the pattern. Okay, so d plus 5 quantity squared, I take my first term, that's like the a, and I square it, so I get d squared. Then I'm going to do plus 2 times d times 5. 2 times each of these. And then finally I do plus 5 squared. That's the pattern. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Well, in this problem, you could even write this off to the side. You could say that a equals d and b equals 5. So I substitute in the d, so I get d squared, and 5 for b. And then let's simplify this. We get d squared, that's 10d, plus 25. In number 8, I could do the same thing. So I take, like we could call this a equals 2f and b equals negative 3. And so I'm going to go a squared, which would be 2f squared. This one's minus, so I'm going to put a minus in here. And then 2 times the first one is 2f, and then the second one is 3. And then finally plus through negative 3 squared, right? Because I'm like, this minus sign went right there, so I just need to put the 3 there. And then when we simplify this, we get 2f squared is 2 squared is 4, f squared, minus, here I get 2 times 2 times 3. That's 4 times 3 is 12, and then 2f, plus negative 3 squared is 9. 4f squared minus 12f plus 9. So, moral of the story here is you've kind of got some options. If this pattern makes sense to you, it does end up being a little bit quicker to find the answers. Okay, if not, just write it twice and distribute like we do with all the other problems. Okay, all right, let's look at the next page for our second type of pattern. This type of pattern is called the difference of squares. All right, and we'll see why it's called that in a second. So if we look at problem 9, let's distribute. You get x squared plus 3x, and then minus 3x minus 9. Well, when I combine my like terms, 3x minus 3x actually becomes 0. So I just get x squared minus 9. Let's do number 10. A times a is a squared minus 7a plus 7a minus 49. Oh, once again, these minus 7a and plus 7a cancel out. I get a squared minus 49. In 11, 2a times 2a is 4a squared minus 12a plus 12a. Oh, they're going to cancel out again. And then minus 36. So I get 4a squared, those cancel out, minus 36. Seen a pattern yet? Let's do number 12 real quick. 4c times 4c is 16c squared. And then I get plus 12c and minus 12c minus 9. So my final answer there is 16c squared minus 9. All right, the pattern here is look at the original problem, actually. X minus 3, x plus 3. A plus 7, a minus 7. 2a plus 6, 2a minus 6. 4c minus 3, 4c plus 3. So the parentheses are the same, they're just 1 plus 1 minus. And when that happens, the reason this is called a difference of squares is because I get the first thing squared minus the second thing squared. So our rule is a difference of squares. And it looks like this. A plus b times a minus b in parentheses. When I have that situation, I'm going to get a squared. Those middle terms, like we saw up above, are going to cancel out. So then I'll get minus b squared. So if we can do the 13 and 14 using this shortcut, 13, I see it's going to be x plus 8, x minus 8. It's just going to equal x squared minus 64, because the middle terms are going to cancel out. plus minus means the middle terms are going to cancel out. For 14, I'm going to get 25x squared, because 5x times 5x. The middle terms will cancel out, there and there, and then I finally get minus 9. Alright, so the rest of this page is the classwork, and thanks for watching.